Hi and welcome to the Demystifying Mental Toughness Podcast for athletes, coaches and professionals who want to achieve their goals faster. I'm David Charlton and I'll be sharing proven methods from leading athletes, coaches and experts that will help you get the most from your talent. Hi and welcome to episode 00, the About Me episode where I tell you everything that you can expect from listening to Demystifying Mental Toughness. First of all, why are you here? And what are you going to get? You're here because you're a highly motivated athlete or coach who wants to be the best that you can be or create a mentally tough culture in your team. You may be a business or HR professional or a leader who has an interest in mental toughness or mindset with a fondness for sport too. Sports psychologists in training, mental game coaches, life coaches will also get a lot from this podcast in supporting their own development, learning from my guests and the inspiring stories and insights that they share. So what do I mean by mental toughness? It's something that's talked about an awful lot in the media. In sport, you hear about it most weekends. But why? Mental toughness is a concept which is misunderstood, and that's part of the reason for the name of the show, Demystifying Mental Toughness. In this show, I aim to educate listeners about what mental toughness is, why it's important, and how you can develop it. And yes, you can develop it. Mental toughness, it's a much talked about phrase in sport. Most weekends, pundits use it, but often the way they describe it is completely wrong and misleading. It's not a quality that you have or you don't have. It's not a male macho quality. So forget about muscles, forget about big egos. Mental weakness is not the opposite of mental toughness. In fact, mental weakness doesn't exist. Being mentally tough doesn't mean that you can't be caring or an empathetic person. And it's not just a sporting quality. It applies to all areas of life. So where do I get these strong opinions from? As a psychologist, evidence, facts, models and theories are a large part of our work. And in this case, Professor Peter Clough MBE and his colleagues have conducted extensive research worldwide, yes in sport, but also in business, in education and in health settings. The model I'm referring to is the 4C's mental toughness model, where mental toughness is regarded as a personality trait, a plastic personality trait. What do I mean by a plastic personality trait? It means it is changeable, it can be developed. So a plastic personality trait which determines in large part how people deal effectively with challenge, stress and pressure, irrespective of circumstances. So that's right, the mentally tough are able to deal better with challenges, with obstacles, with stress. And you're going to learn more about this from our fantastic guests' insights and stories. So why is mental toughness important? Well, the vast majority of research tells us that mental toughness accounts up to 25% of variation in performance. Now I think you'll agree that is a lot. And it's the difference in sport between winning and losing a match, between finishing first and second in a race. In business or in the workplace, the mentally tough prosper into better leaders, or entrepreneurs with mental toughness go on to rise to challenges, taking appropriate risks. And those people in the workplace are less likely to be bullied if they're mentally tough. In health, our well-being is affected by our mindset. Therefore, mentally tough people are more likely to experience fewer mental health challenges. But, and there is a but, there are also downsides to being mentally tough, believe it or not. And this is something we'll cover in the show. So a little bit about me and why mental toughness is important to me. I'm David Charlton and I support athletes, coaches and teams to achieve their goals fast, working as a sports psychologist and managing director for Inspiring Sporting Excellence. So in the 10 years I've been doing the role, initially as a performance coach, I've helped over 1,000 athletes across a range of sports from golf, football, rugby union, rugby league, triathlon, motorsport, you name the sport, I've worked and supported the athlete. Athletes have come from aspiring youngsters to top elite professionals, competing in world championships, on golf tours, in the Premier League and in the Premiership Rugby. I'm also an executive or performance coach who supports business professionals and organisations to improve their performance and well-being with resilience and mental toughness coaching. Why did I get involved in this type of work? Well, 5 things influenced my decision. Firstly, my love of sport. Secondly, failing to reach my own potential as a golfer. Thirdly, my fascination with how high performers do what it is that they do. Fourthly, my interest in personal and professional development. And lastly, and very sadly, the death of my wife when I was in my early 30s. These 5 reasons I'll expand on as the podcast develops. How do I know what I do works? As well as having witnessed many successes with my clients, I know from my own personal journey that this works, that sports psychology and developing your mental toughness definitely does work, and it enhances your performance as well as your well-being. I'm a little bit different to your traditional sports psychologist. I've got 15 years experience working across a range of roles and as a manager in a business setting, and I've also been trained by leading performance coaches, so I have NLP and sports hypnosis tools up my sleeve too, as well as the evidence-based practice I've learned from my degree, my master's degree, and further training. So I'm very confident my experiences and educational knowledge can help you. I absolutely love my new career and love helping motivated athletes, coaches, and business professionals who have an interest in sport and mental toughness, helping my clients recognize their potential, overcome blocks, play and work with a smile on their faces is my main motivator. I'm human, I've made errors, but I'm a big reflector and always seek to learn from any situation and experience. I'm sure, like you, I'll learn an awful lot from the podcast journey, both in improving my approach and from the high quality guests that I'll be interviewing. This podcast is all about you, helping you through the stories, the knowledge, and the tips that my expert guests have learned from experience or from their academic research. I've been very fortunate over the last few years that I've been mentored by some leading experts, and I'm bringing lots of their know-how and learnings to the table too, to give you a fantastic experience. As you listen to this podcast, I intend for it to be not only motivational, but also very strategic, so that you leave this podcast knowing what you need to do to get the most from you or your team's talent. Initially, the first 30 episodes will be in the form of interviews from expert guests, short bites of mental toughness from myself, addressing different audiences in sport and business, with some short discussions also included with close associates from different fields too. I'll then be reviewing what I've learned at that point and potentially changing things up to suit yourself, the listener, based on feedback. I'm so excited you're listening right now and hope that you love this show, so please tell your friends about it. Let's get the show on the road. Thank you for listening to Demystifying Mental Toughness. Thank you for listening to Demystifying Mental Toughness today. To sign up for tips and advice to help you be the best that you can be, go to www.sport-excellence.co.uk and sign up to the Mental Edge newsletter.